On today's video, we're going to be talking about storage solutions. In specific, we're going to be talking about rear seat deletes. A couple years ago, I got a rear seat delete from Goose Gear. I got a full rear seat delete. It comes with 4 doors with locks, and these locks just work. You press down there and it comes up. I also opted to get the side panels here, so whatever I store in the front compartment wouldn't slide out. And I use this to store plenty of things, but some of the stuff I had to put onto the back of the seat. Of course, you have, this is like my recovery side here. Got your soft shackles, some more recovery stuff here, your winch line cover, you got your tree saver, and you also have Marley stuff here. So her leash, and then I got some more bags up in there, stuff for water bottles, and of course trash right there. And on the other side, that's where I keep my tire repair gear at. Everything from plugs to patches, extra valve stems, all that other good stuff. And below that, we have your CV axle, your hub assembly, and then the full rear seat delete. You have your battery pack jumper cables. And then that's just more cleaning supplies down there in that area. And here, I normally keep Marley's food out on the trips. Right now, it's just holding the blinds for the Vagabond. But that normally has Marley's toys, her food, stuff like that too. Let's go around to the other side. On this side, I normally keep some dry goods if I don't have room in the back, just to keep them unfrozen depending on the time of year. And then of course, you have your standard aftermarket bottle jack to replace the high lift I used to have, and then some more gloves. And I normally keep some more recovery gear in here too. I was running out of space to put recovery gear, Marley stuff, and some other camera stuff that I wanted to take out on adventures. And the more that I went on longer trips, the more room I needed to store stuff into. So I looked into getting some Goose Gear boxes that you can place on top of here, and they slide out like normal drawers. But that would interfere with the ability for Marley to lay down here and be comfortable. So I decided to go another route. Last year at Overland Expo East, my friend showed me his new full rear seat delete from SHW Offroad. Luckily, they were there at the expo, and I went to go talk to them, and they gave me more details about the rear seat delete. They told me that they make a short one and then a tall one. And my friend had the tall one, and it provided a lot more storage than what I currently have with my Goose Gear. So what I'm gonna do now is measure the Goose Gear dimensions and to see how it compares against the taller SHW Offroad rear seat delete. So Goose Gear's rear seat delete is more of a rectangle. It goes from the door trim to door trim at about 55 inches. We're going to measure from the back wall to there. We're going to call that 33.5. And then we're going to measure from the speaker to the edge here, which we can call that 28. and a half. And last but not least, it's about 6 inches tall. So let's unpack this Tacoma and go check out the new rear seat delete. When you order the seat delete, you will get them in these 2 flat packages. So I unpacked the seat deletes and I laid out their parts. The good thing is, and it makes perfect sense, the way that they pack the seat deletes, the 60 comes in its own box with all the accessories it needs, and then the 40 comes in its own box with all the accessories you need. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and put the 40 together so we can get comfortable with the way that it should go together, and then we're gonna try to tackle the 60. I'm gonna be referencing some of the information that Jake put in his video. He provided some really good tips, and I suggest you go check out some of the information on his video too. It's just really good information that you should take into account whenever you're putting this type of stuff together, or any type of wood structure together too. So with that being said, let's get into it. So what I ended up doing was I took these little pieces here that has the slit in the top, and I went ahead and put them in the places where they're supposed to go. You'll see like these little holes in the back and the sides of the wood. Some of them are kind of tight, some of them are loose, but you want to put it in there like that, and where that slot is open to the outside, where the screw is going to come in top and make contact with that. Some of them were really tight, so what I ended up doing was taking a flathead screwdriver, if I can find my flathead screwdriver, just taking that, putting it in that nut, and then twisting it and push at the same time, and that'll allow it to sit down in there flush. What I ended up doing was pushing it and putting it as far back as possible into the seat. So in case I need to adjust it or put it closer to the edges to make it more square, it'll be easier for that to process. So let's start putting this stuff together. I feel like if you like putting Legos together, this is gonna be a lot like putting Legos together. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be interesting. So let's do it. So what we're gonna start off doing is assembling the drawers to the 40% delete. The reason why I like that approach is because the drawers have the smaller pieces. So go ahead and get those pieces out the way and move on to the actual seat delete itself. So we're gonna go ahead and lay out the drawers so we can get an understanding of what we're actually looking at here. So the first piece is gonna be the front of the drawer. You can tell because it has the place where the lock goes into. So we have your front. You have your base or the bottom of the drawer. The way that you can tell that the bottom of the front of the bottom of the drawer is the front space is a little longer than the back. You can see that. The front is longer and the back is shorter. All right, so that's face down. That's that. The sides, the way that you can tell the sides is the part where it was cut out at is gonna be facing the outside of your drawer. Also, on the outside of these drawers, since the slides aren't attached for mine, they have 3 pre-drilled holes where the slide is going to attach to, and then attach to the rest of the seat delete, so it pulls out like that. So this is the right side of the drawer. This with the dowel and the holes is the left side. And then this is the rear of the rear of the drawer. It's just a smaller rectangle with 2 connection points and then 2 holes in the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and start from the front and work my way back. There's multiple ways that you can do this, but the key is to make sure that the box is square whenever you're done. Just take the supplied hardware. I believe the size that I'm using is a 5/32. I'm gonna screw it down a little bit. I'm not gonna screw it down all the way because I still need to be able to move it and adjust it to get that dowel lined up right. Remember, don't go hard. You don't want to cross thread anything. And then also too, you don't want to torque down on this, which is one of the reasons why I'm not using a power tool. But you want to torque down a little bit, because if you torque down too much, these dowels could start pulling out of their slots, and then that'll just damage the rear seat delete that you just paid all the money for. So we're gonna make sure that that's square. This side isn't. All right. Screw it down a little bit more. All right, next we're going with our side. You can do your side a couple ways. I'm gonna do it on this side here. What I'm gonna do to make sure everything's square is I'm just gonna lay it down and make sure everything's flat. I hope that my floor is flat. Here. All right, I'm just gonna start screwing down the sides the rest of the way. Remember not to over tighten, because we don't want to pull those dowels out. All right, and that's the first drawer. Make sure everything's square, make sure it's good. I like it. That didn't take long at all. On to the next. Okay, so we're going for the rest of the rear seat delete. Like I said, I already preloaded these. Make sure everything's good. So I'm gonna show you how I put this one together. It's really interesting. Saying if you like Legos, you're gonna love this. So pretend we're sitting in reverse in your driver's seat, all right? So we're looking down at the 40% delete, all right? With the top, I find it's easier to just take these out so they're not flying everywhere. So the top seat delete, right? The small part is gonna be the closest to your driver's seat. The large part is gonna be the further one away, right? Like that. So what's gonna happen is this piece with the holes and everything is gonna be the part that pulls out of your back passenger door. So, and this is the actual door too that's gonna have this compartment there. So that's the left side. No, correction, that's the right side, all right? The part here that's gonna make contact with your floorboard has the 4 holes right there. This is gonna make contact with the floorboard itself, and this is gonna sit on the back. So this is your left side. This big giant piece here, this is gonna be your front that comes right up behind your seat. And these two pieces here will be supporting the drawer we just put in. And they'll be connecting right there, like such. All right, so that's how that 40% delete will come together. And it's pretty much the same way for the 60% delete too. So let's start putting this together. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put on the portion where the drawer connects to the seat delete itself. So for this portion, just kind of like the sides, if I put it on there, take notice, if you don't have on the slide, that there's those 4 pre-drilled holes now where the slide connects. And then of course, you have the places where you put in the dowels. All right, so the 4 places where it connects to the slide, of course, will be facing inward as such. And then the other side will be facing inward as such. So we're gonna go ahead and secure those down using the provided hardware. And like I said before, you can approach putting this together multiple ways, in multiple positions to make it a little bit more stable as you're putting it together. This is just me going by the seat of my pants. So just make sure that we don't over tighten. Because we still got to square it up, because you want to make sure your drawer comes out right. Gonna go ahead and get these started top so it can hold itself up. Then from there, put in the bottoms so we can square it up. And now we're back to the front of the rear seat delete. So this is gonna be the closest to the seat. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is attach the part that's closest to the seat. Gonna attach it like that. This is gonna make it stand up a little bit straighter. So I'm gonna turn it this way. And now we're at the rear door facing into the rear seat. And we're gonna take this nice face and put it over there. Once again, you wanna make sure that these ends are square. So everything is lining up. Last one. So this is the part that goes in the middle. This would be the front of your rear seat delete. This is the part that goes over the compartments in the middle, and then we'll sit flush in the back. Up top here, as you can tell, there's a hole here where it needs to connect to an actual connection point. If I would have noticed this while I was prepping, I would have fixed that. But the only thing you have to do is take one of these screws and push it up through the hole, and the this little protection piece will come off where it needs to go into. So what I'm gonna try to do is do it in reverse. So that's the completed box of the seat delete. As you can see, it goes as such. Of course, with the drawer being in there. We're gonna install the drawers later. That's gonna be one of the last steps that I do for the seat delete. So the 40% is 95% done. We're gonna go ahead and move to the 60%. Just like the 40% delete, what we're gonna end up doing is putting together the drawer first. Let's get our pieces. This is the bottom of the drawer. Remember, the long side is the front, the short side is the back. All right, we're gonna make sure our dowels are good on this one. Yeah. All right. Remember, just like the other side, since mine doesn't have the slide already mounted to it, I'm looking for the side with the holes. These holes already have 4 in it. If you can see those, already have 4. So this side is gonna be our left side. And this side here, 4 holes. The nice drill holes are on the outside. The longer part is towards us. That's our right side. The back of the drawer is the smaller rectangle piece. That's gonna be our rear. We're just gonna put that right here. And then of course, the rectangle with just the 4 holes and the locking mechanism piece where it's supposed to go is our front. All right, so since this one's a little bit bigger, I'm gonna try starting off with the sides first, see if that helps stabilize stuff a little bit. All right. So we're gonna go to the back now. Then once you put it together, you notice the back is kind of recessed down in there. So this piece can sit flush. So, well, actually I got it upside down. So this piece can sit flush. Nice little thing to notice. Now the front. Set it down on our flat surface. Make sure everything's square in the corners. Make sure everything's good. We're gonna start from the back. Constant reminder whenever you're tightening down, don't over tighten, because you don't want to strip the dowels out of their slot. And that is your 60% drawer. That's a pretty big drawer. I like it. Pretty deep. We'll take some measurements here later, but I like it. All right. We're in the passenger seat. We're facing towards the rear. This piece here, you have your door for the small side here, and you have your drawer pull out for the large side back there. This will be facing this way, and then coming out of your passenger side door, your rear passenger side door. This, just like the 40%, will be sitting in the middle. We'll be sitting at the end in the middle of the vehicle with the other side. Remember, this will be on the floorboard. And then this piece, this weird looking piece, is gonna be the front piece. These 2 pieces here, of course, just like the other one, will go along the cross members there. And we'll get into more detail about that once you put that on. So just like the other side, we're gonna start off with the drawer supports. Once you lift it up, this is gonna be the drawer as it comes out. And this will be the rear towards me, is the rear of the vehicle towards the window. And that way, of course, is the front towards the seat. So remember that we're looking for the holes, the 4 holes there. The holes that are closer towards the end of the board is gonna be the front of the board as you pull out the drawer. So this is the further one away from me. And then this one is the closest towards me. Once you see those 4 holes, the holes that are closer together are the front of the drawer. Just think whenever you're pulling out the drawer, you want more support on the open end of the drawer. So whenever the drawer is fully extended, it has the most support and won't just fall out. So that's how I justified it. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and set up that. Go ahead and connect the top to it. See how this works out for me? Oh, I got it backwards. Connect the top there. This is the front towards the passenger seat. And this is the rear, of course, the drawer coming out. All right, we're gonna put on the other side. Remember, this big part go towards the floorboard. So it's gonna go like that. And now we're gonna add on the front piece. The front piece that's gonna be at the rear of the seat. It's gonna go on like such. So now that we got the 60% seat delete done, everything's squared up, looking good. We're gonna go ahead and install our drawer slides. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is separate the drawer slide itself from the inside of the slide. What you can do is you can go ahead and take out the extension piece here. All you have to do is lift up and it'll come straight out. So since it comes out like this is gonna be our left side. Since this one comes out here, this is gonna be our right side. Go ahead and separate that out. From what I understand, we're gonna be using this hardware versus the little hardware that it came with. So what we're gonna do is take this slide. We're gonna make sure it's coming out the right way. There.
And we're gonna go ahead and flush it up against the inside of this cabinet here. And my hole is right there, lining up with the first one. So that's a good hole. All right, we got that in. We're gonna go ahead and secure the back and then move on from there. They did a really good job lining up these holes. And remember, for this big slide, there's 4. Those two are flush-ish. So what we're gonna do now, let's put on the sides. There's a couple ways that you can tell which side is which. One, the opening on this side, the front of it has like a little lip here on this side, and then also you always want this tab, this black tab here, pointing outward, so you can access it for whenever you close the door. So what we're gonna do here is line up everything, make sure everything's good. All right. Remember, this too also takes 4. I moved my bar all the way forward. We're gonna see if that was the right move or not, or if I need to move it back a little bit. What I like to do is push these things all the way back. So I know that everything's flush and ready to go. I'm gonna slowly but surely install this drawer. There it is. You hear that click? That's how you know both those locks went in. We're just gonna push it on back. So what we're gonna do now is take your locking mechanism and we're gonna remove this screw that's on the back. We don't need it. But you get the screw that's on top here. That makes sense. Really gonna take the screwdriver and remove this back plate. This is the plate that's gonna lock it, gonna secure the lock to the drawer system itself. Gonna take this lock, put it through there, push this thing all the way up, and take your piece here, put it on the back of the lock, make sure it's in between, perfectly in between and hitting the wood back there so it'll secure in place. then we're gonna tighten it down.
Make sure the lock is turned open. In my case, it's to the left. Locking mechanism. Put it in. And that's it. And that's not going anywhere. Right there. I like it. Just like the door there. We're gonna take this lock, place it in there. We'll make sure it's already open. This is the back that I was talking about. For me, I just want to push that up as high as it can go. I'm gonna take the backing plate, making sure that it is centered between those two wooden pieces. Maybe slide this over there a little bit, turn it more like an angle. There it is. Make sure it bites down on both parts there. And it's good on that.
So what I'm gonna try to do is try a different technique with this one. I'm gonna stand it up on its side and then install the slides. See if that gives me a better advantage. And this is our left side. Let's go ahead and separate them. And we're going to the second oval right there. Gonna line that up with the first hole. All right, we're just gonna go ahead and hit the back. Remember, the end that comes up is going to be facing towards the face of the drawer. And since we're here, we're just gonna go ahead and put on the lock. Once again, take out the bolt up top. Take off the back. Your back. Go ahead and open that up. There it is. So that is the completed rear seat delete by SHW Offroad. And now we're gonna go put it into Tacoma. But first, I'm gonna do some prep work that I've been meaning to do for a long time. Throwing in some sound deadening for under the rear seat delete. See if that'll improve the sound in the cab. I just put in the full rear seat delete inside the Tacoma. This is what it looks like without the top on. Some key things to remember whenever you're installing this: make sure your front seats are pushed all the way forward. It'll help you whenever you're lifting up the system, turning it at about a 45-degree angle to get it into the door, and then just sitting it back down on here. Super easy to put in. And then of course, it snugs up whenever you put the seat back. And that also kind of secures it in place also. Speaking of securing it in place, it comes with these brackets. These brackets go where your seat belt would click into, which is right around here. And then that would hold it to the base. And I feel that that is for if you get one section of the rear seat delete. With me having both parts of the rear seat delete, what I ended up doing was taking a drill and drilling a 1/4 hole right there, another right here. I didn't need to do that, but I put it in there just to give it a little, just to make it a little bit more stable. So the back is not secured down to the base of the vehicle, but the fitment that they did with this thing isn't going anywhere. It's sinking the whole truck. So you can't get any better. Can't get any better than that. I like it. Another thing that I ended up doing, and another thing I really like about this system, is that you can access the drawer with, for me, my dog would be on top. What I also did too was sound dampening the bottom of this. There's still some savings up in there, but that's all right. But I sound deadened the bottom of this so it's not as loud. So let's go ahead and get some of those measurements, and we can compare that to the Goose gear. If you notice, it is really tight and close on that side to the door, and that helps prevent stuff from going inside your cup holder there. For me, it'll be really helpful for dog hair. And if you notice on this end also, it is more contoured towards the vehicle to give you as much space as possible. So right here, we're looking at about 55 inches. And the part that sticks out a little bit more, you're looking at 55.5 inches. And we're gonna keep on moving down. 55 3/8. Move down, 54.5. And now we're at the cup holder. I really like the way it forms around the cup holder, so you're not losing any space. And that is pretty much 55.5. So that's it for the length. Let's see how wide this thing is. So let's see how wide this thing is. So from the rear of the seat to there, is upside down, but it's about 31 3/4. That's a lot wider than the Goose gear. And I'm sure Marley will enjoy that extra space back here as well. Speaking of extra space, let's look at the storage that this thing provides, which is really amazing. That's how long this drawer actually is. We're looking at 27 1/4. About 11.5 inches wide, 5 and 14 inches deep. It does lock from the side here. You pull it out, see how far this drawer comes out. Drawer comes out about 23 inches, so that's nice. And then of course, the rest of the space is easily accessible right here. All right, let's check the other drawer. We're on the driver's side now. The drawer height is the same, of course. Now let's go into the actual length of the drawer. We're looking at 18 1/8. And of course, this drawer, along with this door, has locks on them. See how much that we can pull out here. Sorry for the lawnmower in the back, the weed eater. This pulls out at about 17.5 inches. Let's see the height of the system. Very height. Let's call that 14 5/8. Not bad at all. Now that we got the measurements out the way, let's see what it provides in storage. So going up here, this front storage compartment, I really haven't put anything in it yet, but I was just seeing if stuff fit. Plenty of space here. That's gonna be where my longer items like a CV axle goes. You have the drawer, the larger drawer on this side. You can pull out this drawer and still have access to your OEM storage solution down here. I really like this sounding, so hopefully stuff down here won't rattle around too much. What I'm going to put down there is stuff that I'm not going to use too often, and this up here will more than likely be recovery gear as needed. All right, let's move over to the other side. So this is the driver's side. So have your doors on this end, your access doors. Really sweet handles, locking handles. We'll get into that compartment here in a little bit. Sliding drawer on that side, still able to access the OEM storage. Since I had the Goose gear rear seat delete, I got rid of my 40% panel a long time ago. So if you're coming from stock, you will still have this area right here, and there is also a storage area here also where you can put you know, different things at. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to find a Marley panel, a metal Marley panel. I'm gonna mount it up here and then mount stuff to that Marley panel. And for the front of the driver side seat delete, I made the front compartment into my power station. This is powered by the 200 amp hour Battleborn batteries in the back. It is 3 USB-Cs and 3 USB-As. The USB-Cs are 65 watts each, and then it can push out a total of 78 watts. And then of course, I decided to get a regular cigarette lighter plug just in case I wanted to put like a little small converter in here or anything that I can power with. The good thing is what I ended up doing was connecting it to the aux beam switch in the back, so I can turn on when needed by the remote, and then turn it off whenever I don't need it, so it's just not taking up power. If I'm stationary in a place and just need to charge up stuff that's not running off the truck, I can just turn it on and it can do its thing, charge up my camera batteries fast, and then turn it off whenever I don't need it. It was the easiest place I found that I could put the sockets because it fits right underneath the driver's seat. And then there's a place for the cable to run and go under the vehicle to the trunk of the Tacoma. Also too, if you can see here, there's a little bit of daylight, well not daylight, access to the underneath right here. This could also go around to this drawer. So if I want to make this into like a drone storage drawer, I can just pass my USB-C to USB-C cable in here and then just use this for that. So this is everything I had in the truck before in the Goose gear and hanging on the back of the seats. Emergency parts, of course, tire repair kit. That drawer is just for electronics. That's recovery and recovery below that. And then I just have this drawer over here too. But I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. So that's the battery pack, some extra gloves, a lot of space up over here, really. Marley's leash and dog bags. So I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with that extra space. I really don't know. What I might do is fill this with my tools that I normally carry with me, so that'll be one less bin I have to carry around. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.